You're scared. You're going to die here. You want to be safe. Minimal horror.
In a cluttered world, minimalism offers a refuge, a promise of peace through simplicity and restraint, but beneath its serene surface, a darker narrative unfolds. In this exploration, we'll explore how minimalism, a principle celebrated for purity, becomes a canvas for profound horror. Through the unsettling worlds of Local 58, the pure stress from the Mandela Catalogue, the notoriously known Backrooms, and other eerie yet terrifying aspects of how minimalism goes a long way. We unveil the terror that lurks within simplicity, revealing how less can indeed become a haunting more. Minimalism, by stripping away the excess, exposes the raw and essential. Yet, in this reduction process, the familiar becomes uncanny, and the empty spaces echo with possibilities of the unknown. The lack of distraction, rather than offering solace, sometimes breeds a vacuum where our deepest fears manifest. Horror finds a potent canvas in these voids, turning minimalism into a vessel of unease and dread. The Backrooms, a captivating and unsettling fictional concept, found its origins in a creepypasta posted on a 4chan thread in 2019, quickly ascending to become one of the most iconic examples of the internet's fascination with liminal spaces. The Backrooms delves deep into the uncanny valley by presenting a scenario that's eerily relatable yet profoundly disturbing. The Backrooms are described as an endless labyrinth of empty, identical office rooms, a place one might accidentally enter through an act described as clipping out of reality. This act of clipping, a term borrowed from video gaming where a glitch allows a player to pass through a boundary in the game's environment, inadvertently is translated into the physical world as a metaphor for stumbling into this alternate dimension. The concept compellingly plays with the idea of what happens when the mundane settings of our everyday lives become the stage for an existential nightmare. Adding to the eerie ambience are the minimal audio cues and unexpected, jarring sound effects puncturing the silence. These elements are sparse yet impactful, designed to heighten the isolation and dread permeating the Backrooms. The lack of a constant soundtrack means that every sound, be it the flicker of a faulty light, the distant sound of something unseen moving, or the sudden inexplicable noises that break the oppressive silence, carries weight and significance, transforming the mundane into a source of profound unease. This concept taps into the aesthetic of liminal spaces, transitional areas that stand between the familiar and the unknown, such as empty hallways, vacant hotel lobbies, or deserted parking lots. These are places that, in their normal state, bustle with activity, but are depicted here as unnaturally deserted, amplifying the sense of dislocation and unease.
Local 58, a horror web series created by Chris Straub, was founded in 1939 and has been broadcasted since 1938 in Mason County, West Virginia, USA. The station serves the fictional towns of Edenville, Lasca City, and Ica Falls. It is a seminal work in analog horror, skillfully blending minimalism with a nostalgic retro aesthetic to craft a uniquely unsettling experience. This horror web series distinguishes itself through grainy footage and static overlays that hark back to the early days of television broadcasting, when the medium was as mysterious as it was revolutionary. The series taps into the inherent eeriness of outdated technology, exploiting past eras' visual and auditory limitations to create a sense of disquiet and unease. Local 58 lies in its deliberate restraint. The series employs sparse yet potent audio cues, such as the crackling of static, the abrupt interruption of emergency broadcast signals, and the haunting silence that follows a sudden cutoff. These elements are meticulously curated to build an atmosphere of anticipation and dread. The absence of a constant soundtrack or predictable sound design means that every auditory cue takes on a heightened significance, transforming seemingly innocuous noises into harbingers of horror. Local 58's narrative is conveyed through cryptic messages and unsettling implications, communicated via the format of a local TV station's late-night programming, gone Eerie. The series cleverly uses the familiar framework of television broadcasts, infomercials, and public service announcements to deliver its chilling content, juxtapositioning the mundane with the macabre. This approach amplifies the horror through minimalism and engages viewers' imaginations, compelling them to fill in the narrative gaps. The horror becomes personalized as viewers project their fears into the voids of the series' deliberate ambiguous.
The Mandela Catalogue.
Created by Alex Kister, stands as a compelling exploration of minimalist horror, seamlessly weaving together stark, disturbing imagery with a narrative that is as sparse as it is haunting. The web series distinguishes itself with a unique premise, a collection of VHS tapes that serve as a window into Mandela County, a place plagued by the eerie phenomenon of alternates, doppelgangers of the residents, each with
malevolent intentions.
Through the eyes of characters such as Mark Heathcliff and Cesar Torres, viewers are introduced to a chilling procedure to identify and protect oneself from these sinister doubles. The series taps into the deep-seated fear of the other, the doppelganger and alternate realities threatening to undermine our sense of identity and reality. By employing minimal dialogue and relying heavily on sudden, eerie sound effects and visuals. The Mandela Catalogue elevates the horror of the familiar turned alien. This simplicity amplifies the terror. The less we know, the more our minds fill in the gaps with our worst fears, making the mundane settings of our daily lives the backdrop for an unimaginable nightmare. The Mandela Catalogue showcases how minimalist audio and visual storytelling techniques can escalate the horror experience exponentially. The series' grainy VHS quality footage invokes nostalgia for a bygone era. It adds a layer of authenticity to the proceedings as if these tapes were discovered rather than created. This choice enhances the viewer's suspension of disbelief, drawing them deeper into an unsettling world Kester has crafted. Moreover, the lack of sound design is pivotal in its storytelling. The sparring use of dialogue makes every word spoken carry significant weight, while the sudden bursts of static, distorted sounds, and unsettling silence punctuate the narrative with a visceral sense of dread. Combined with the visual, these auditory elements create a disconcerting atmosphere where anticipation of the unknown keeps viewers on edge. Finally, in minimalism, the adage that less is more finds a chilling new dimension. Through the stark landscapes of the Mandela Catalogue, the eerie transmissions of Local 58, and the endless monotony of the Backrooms, we've seen how minimalism can transform the boring into the horrifying. This journey into the heart of minimalist horror reveals the truth, unsettling in its simplicity. In the absence of the familiar, in the void of the uncluttered, our deepest fears find room to roam.
You fucking bastard!